Hello there. Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Knocks to Nuggets. My name is Oluwayomi Ute, and I'm so excited to be with you today. 2023 has really been an amazing year, and 2023 is also a defining year for the nation of Nigeria. Whichever nation you are watching from, I'm sure you are connected to Nigeria or a Nigerian one way or the other. And the fact that you're actually watching this tells me you are connected to Nigeria because this is happening right from Nigeria, Lagos, Nigeria, to be precise. And I know that 2023 will birth good things for us as a people. One of the things I've always said is that God forbid, is not a strategy. I believe God is neither a strategy. God expects us to watch, to pray, and to act. And so today we're going to be talking about our role as nation builders. Again, thank you to everyone who is watching me live. I totally appreciate it. I don't take it for granted. And like I always ask, please like the video, share it. If you are yet to subscribe to my YouTube channel, wow, please subscribe. It will be good to have you there. And for those that watch thereafter, I don't take it for granted. Thank you so much for giving me a share of your time. Let somebody out there know that there is something called Knocks to Nuggets, and let's build this station together. Today, I'm excited because I have a guest in the house. And when I read his profile, I probably wonder, what has all of this got to do with nation building? Are we here on a missionary journey? Well, he has done a lot in politics, but he didn't put it there. But we'll discover it when we start speaking to him. My guest this morning is a gifted teacher, as a missionary, is a youth mentor, and a social entrepreneur. He has been serving for the past 38 years as a missionary with Capro Missions, an international, interdenominational, and cross-cultural missions organization that was birthed in Nigeria in 1975 by some young university graduates on their compulsory National Youth Service assignment. Capro has grown to be one of the largest mission agencies in and from Africa, with over 820 missionaries from 26 different nations, 32 different denominations, and serving in over 40 countries and 5 continents of the world. Tells me something good is coming out of Nigeria, even in 2023. My guest has pioneered Capro Mission in South Africa in 2006 and served for several years as the Southern Africa Director of the missions. In 2012, my guest was appointed as International Director of Capro Missions, a position he held for 8 years before handing over in December 2020. He currently serves at the Capro International Office in Lagos, Nigeria, as a missions mobilizer and strategist. My guest is a university graduate, an ordained minister in the Foursquare Gospel Church, and he serves as an international faculty with the Agai Institute, a global Christian leadership development and training institute based in Hawaii, in the USA, with a campus in Thailand, Asia. He was recently inducted into the International Institute for Pastoral Education and Chaplaincy as a chaplain. He's married to one female wife, Rolly, and they are blessed with 2 lovely children, Ruby and Robert. And I love this phrase of his. It says he's a nobody trying to tell everybody about somebody who can save anybody. Ladies and gentlemen, join me to receive onto the Knocks to Nugget platform no other than Sam Kputu. Hey.
Good morning, viewers. So good to be here. Thank you, my sister Toyin.
I'm glad you made it. Thank you so much for being here. I know as I was reading your profile, I said somebody was saying, but all of this mission. Tell us very briefly about your stint in politics. You've been there. Let's know something. How was it?
Well, I wasn't born into missions. I became a missionary quite later in life. But all through my years from high school to university, I've been an activist, seeking to bring change and justice and equity wherever I was. And that was the motivation. When I became a Christian, I suddenly realized that God expects the church to make a difference. We are salt, we are light. And so it is a crime not to be involved. You don't put salt in a salt shaker and expect it to make a change. And
Mm.
if we if we are the light, we should be pointing the way to everything that is good. And that I got involved with a group of people, not just to change my campus and change the narrative that young people are leaders of tomorrow, that why can they lead today? Leadership
Mm.
is not about the post you hold, it's about the life and influence you generate around you. When the military took over, I was one of those working behind the scene with other people to see how we can restore democracy. I never really felt like being a frontline person. I like working from the back. And I got involved in political parties, helping write constitutions, leading youth movements, and until it landed me in trouble with the then military regime of the General Diagbon, and I got locked up for a few weeks and months. And but that was a defining moment. I began to question the deeper meaning of my life, and so God brought me into what I'm doing now to help change society by other means. So that's my background.
Wow. 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 That's interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
So, with all of this, I'm just asking, what exactly is nation building?
But nation building, I don't want to go the classical way. I want to go the way everybody understands. Like every other building you do, is bringing together different elements to build a whole. In terms of nations, nations are made up of different cultures, different peoples, with different potentials and different challenges. And so bringing all that together to build a
Mm.
nation where everybody has a stake and everybody profits and everybody feel he belongs is what to me what nation building is. So from there you understand that it is primarily about building structures and institutions that serve the needs of the populace. It's also about building harmony and synergy and unity. A divided nation can never reach its full potential. So it's from the
Mm.
micro level of building vital relationship networks that bring together all that is in a nation for the good of everybody in the nation. So you can see it goes beyond politics and partisanship.
Hmm. Wow. Wow. I was looking at it and I was wondering, is building structures, institutions, harmony, unity, and vital relationships. Now, when we talk about all of this, and I want to bring it a bit closer, and I know that my audience is diverse. There are Muslims, there are Christians, there are atheists. Everybody is on air and everybody is free to be here, and you are all very welcome. But you know, there are a set of people that I want to talk about, and you started it when you were talking about yourself, that you don't expect salt to be in a salt shaker and make a difference in the soup. And that is so, so true. Now, for the Christians particularly, what we have always heard is politics is dirty. So, for us to maintain our sanity, we want to stay in our cocoon and just do our thing and attempt to, we will pray. We will pray. Trust me, we will pray. In fact, we will fast. I can guarantee you we will fast. And we expect God to do something. Is that nation building?
Now, let me start from where you ended. A prayer that ends in prayer is not a prayer.
Oh, oh.
Genuine prayer should lead to action.
Mm,
Prayer is you acting like a priest before men, you taking issues around you, your family, your nation, your job place to God. And if it ends with your talking to God, you have not prayed, you have played. When you talk to God, God is going to talk back to you. And I can bet you he's going to demand you to do something. So if I
mm,
see someone hungry around me and I say, oh God, give him food, give him food. If I just walk away, I have not prayed. If I really prayed, God may say, hey, you go buy him food or walk across the street and get food for him from a neighbor. So real prayer ends in work. The best you
mm,
get out of prayer is work. That's one. Two, the thinking that Christian oh, anybody religious should not be involved in politics. It's neither here nor that. When people talk like that, they just read politics from the partisan to divisive, mudslinging level. Politics go beyond that. The critical element of politics is mobilization. It's like telling me you if you are not the MD or general manager of your company, you are not involved. Most time, the success of the company depends on the laborers. If you ever fly or involved in aviation, when the ground staff go on strike, the plane will not fly with all the experienced pilots and cabin crew. So it's more than that. In any case, for Christians especially, the command you receive from God is go into all the world. The world is not just geography. The world is also sociology. Politics is a word, and there are people that will be demanded of God to go in there. Just like some will go into the military, some will go into manufacturing, some will go into education, some will go into civil society. It's a word. And there are people who will go there. God wants to bring every word under his dominion, and he uses people. Now, I'm not talking of religious dominion. I'm talking of God's influence. And so not to be involved, it's not a strategy. In any case, if it's dirty, why would you not want to go clean it up?
If it's dirty, then go and clean it up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now, let me say this.
Okay.
Let me say something. You see, the challenge people have who want to make a difference in politics that they are aspiring to positions. And when you start looking for position, you're going to come into conflict. In a country over 200 million, I calculated there are only 12,000 elective offices, from councillors to presidency. 12,000. So how many people are going to be in the 12,000? So the vast majority may not get to political office, but doesn't mean you won't be involved. Can I bet you an average politician needs 4 things? He needs brainy people who can think for him. They hardly think. So if you can think, you are involved. I was most time a strategist thinking for them. They need people with fat bank balance. If you have money, you can influence them. They need people with a base who have a population they control so they can woo you and your population. So they go for pastors, they'll go for civil society people who have 1 million followers on Instagram or Facebook. That's what they go for. They need a base, but they also need the browns. If you don't have brains, you don't have bank balance, you don't have a base, they use your power for thuggery. Whichever one you offer, you'll be involved.
Wow, whatever one you offer, you'll be involved. And you said something, not to be involved is not a strategy. And we can't sit down, fold our hands, and expect ki sera, whatever will be, will be. Let's come back to this nation building of a thing. You said a lot about praying, about God giving instructions, about getting into it. How else can we be involved? Now, when you said that there are just 12,000 elective offices, I stopped to say, wait, 12,000 elective offices. Even a local government is more than 12,000 people. We are about 200 million people and just 12,000 elective officers. Unfortunately, is this 12,000 elective officers that everybody's eyes are on? So apart from being in an elective office, what else can I do?
Thank you. You see, building a nation is primarily about building values. Changing a nation is about changing the value system, not just changing elected officials. And when you create values, the vast population of the young people are going to develop heroes after the values that are prevalent. That's why Mr. Edo Kainikan, one of those writers on nation building I read a lot, he said something. Show me the hero that the youth of your country look up to, and I will tell you the future of your country. So if it's after the musician, the sports stars, the drug barons that make a lot of dirty money and throw around, those who run the taverns, and those who rush into public offices and come out with laws of stolen money. If those are the values the young people are aspiring to, the nation has no future. And when it comes to building values, it's a very personal thing first. And that's where the role of family and schools come in. So you're a teacher, you're a lecturer, whether a proprietor, you're involved in education. It was one Abdul Kalam who said, if a country is to be corruption free and become a nation of beautiful minds, I strongly feel there are three key societal members who can make a difference. They are the father, the mother, and the teacher. So value. So if I'm building a strong family, I'm actually building the nation. Families are the building block of a nation. Can I tell you, every nation that is dysfunctional, you check. There are dysfunctional families. Check the Boko Haram, the bandits. I wish you can trace their history. These are abandoned children who were raised by people that don't know, care for them, just use them, and they kids use them. When you hear of a shooting in America or in South Africa, just check the history of that child. It's a troubled child. Troubled child. And so when I get involved in building a functional family, I'm a Christian. I read the Bible. And one of the things Malachi 4:6 said was that if before the coming of the day of judgment, God will send people, Prophet Elijah, who will turn the hearts of parents to their children and children to their parents so that the land will not be cursed. In other words, a dysfunctional family breeds a dysfunctional society. And then
Mm.
education. Education. It was the late Nelson Mandela who said education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. The power of education extends beyond the development of skills we need for economic success. It contributes to nation building and reconciliation. One of the challenges of the generation of the young people I deal with that they have no sense of history. Education is more than history, science. It's about history. I mean, it's more than a medicine, lawyer, architect, IT. Education is about history. People who don't know history cannot interpret the present. They cannot project the future. So
Mm.
when I was growing up, the first thing my father did was to tell me the history of my place, the threats we face, and the potentials we have. He didn't go to school, but I grew up with that history, and I can tell you it's still relevant today. So values. The other thing we can all do is that you can't build a nation when people are not patriotic. If you want to build a nation, we have to create patriots first. It was J.F. Kennedy who said, ask not what your country will do for you, but what you can do for your country. I hear people say, well, he can say that because their country did a lot for them. No. The same Ido I was quoting earlier said something that blew my mind. Say, your pride for your country should not come after your country becomes great. Your country becomes great because of your pride in it. So how much pride do we take in our country? I find out that everybody just sees the wrong around. And it, to me, speaks of ingratitude. There's so much to celebrate about this country. There are so many God stories. It was a former head of state who said he doesn't know why this country doesn't collapse. The reason is because God has interest. So building patriotism, a basic love for the country. I mean, I met a foreign friend. I traveled and I met, he was talking about Nigeria. He said, look, when I read about your country from your people, I wonder whether there's one person in your country who loves your country. You scare us away from your country. What I read on social media by your own people scares me away. And yet, I have friends in my own country who think the best destination to progress is to go to your country. So, one hand, your country demarcates your country, your citizens demarcate your country. On the other hand, business community promote your country as a future. So you see, those are things that you don't need elected officials to do. So you need to build values and promote values. I want to say that that is one way. Let me stop there. I can still continue, but building values beginning with family is a big way to start.
Hmm. Hmm. Building the nation starts with building value and patriotism. And you are so true. I was looking at some programs recently and I said to myself, in all honesty, if I wasn't a Nigerian and I watched this, I probably would never want to come to Nigeria again. But every time you challenge that and tell people Nigeria is good, there are good things in Nigeria. I mean, these nations that you are talking about are not 100% perfect. In fact, sometimes the crimes going on there, you can't imagine them. The feedback I get, at least those countries are working. At least those countries are doing this for their people. At least those countries are doing that for their people. Now, my question to you, sir, is this: is it wrong for me to expect certain things from my country because I want to be patriotic?
No, patriotism is not denying the realities of your country. That's not it. And patriotism is not loyalty to leaders, whether they are bad or good. That's not patriotism. Now, I'll give you an example. I bought a Toyota car, and it gave me all the trouble a car can give you in this world. I can decide to say that Toyota is bad, never you go near Toyota again. I can decide to say, this my Toyota car, the mechanic didn't take good care of it, or the first user. I will find
Mm.
options. Like you said, every nation on earth, uh, there's a guy called Sonnet, NASCAR. He loves to write on nation building. I just say something that blew my mind. There's no perfect nation.
Mm.
Every nation on earth suffers from some distinct ailments. The first step to a recovery is acknowledging those ailments, not denying them. So it's not wrong to say there are things that are deficient. But the treatment does not come from criticism. If you want to study superpower, NASCAR said, study America. But if you want to study dysfunctional power, still study America. If you want to study spirituality, study India and Nigeria. But if you also want to study rotten spirituality, you still need to look at India and Nigeria. If you want to study secularism, go to Turkey, but you also see the deficit of secularism in the same Turkey. Do you want to see standard of beauty? Go to Korean Republic. But if you want to study doctored beauty, also go to Korea. You want to see pride and loyalty, go to Britain. But you want to study primeval pride and loyalty, still look at Britain. If you want to study strong statehood, look at China. But also the horrors of statehood come from China. So every nation has a plus and a minus. Patriotism is, how do I limit the minus and build a plus? Every nation is built on a promise to deliver certain dividends and benefits to the citizen if they do their part. One of the things I challenge my friends, how much taxes do you pay? Even
Mm.
our churches talk about paying tithe. They don't talk about paying tax. I challenge my friend, you buy a bottle of Ever Water, 1 liter, for 200 naira. You complain about buying fuel for 165. Now, what is the process of producing Ever Water, 1 liter, plus the process of producing 1 liter of petrol? I'm not justifying escalation of price. I'm just being realistic. You pay 100,000 naira to go to university in a year. And you go abroad and pay 5 million for the same degree. Then you wonder why facilities in that foreign university are better than yours. So if you raise that fee to 500 naira, you have people going on the street. But they just buy one ticket to go to India for 500,000. So the point is, are we also paying dues to the nation to warrant the expectation? Yes, the leaders have faith, but are we also doing our part? When you bribe NEPA or disco official to connect illegal power and then the transformer blows, you blame government that is not providing light. I mean, so when you throw sachets of pure water in the gutters and then flood come, you blame government. So I'm saying it's not wrong to expect dividends from governor. Every government political party is built on promises. But I always tell people, to be honest, the average politician is not set out to solve your problem. Actually, he
Mm.
created those problems because problems fuel manifestos, right? So problems
True.
fuel manifestos. If there's
True.
nothing to promise you, what will he run government on? But when we have citizens who demonstrate leadership in critical societies, the difference between our politicians and their politicians is this. In countries that advance, it is leaders you make politicians. People demonstrate leadership in education, in commerce, in civil society. You don't make them leaders in government. In our country, it is politicians we make leaders. People who know next to nothing from industry become ministers of industry because we judge leadership to be the post, not the influence and value you bring to that office. So, answer you, it's not wrong to expect. But if the nation will also a person speaking, it will also be saying, we also expect this from you. So if you can't give me what I expect, why don't I give you what I can give you? That's all I'm saying.
Wow, wow, wow. If you cannot give me what I expect, why can't you give me? You have said so much, sir. And honestly, we can go on and on, but I'm so happy that we have a 2.0. So next week, Sam Kputu is back, still on nation building, and where we will start from. And next week, for everybody, let me just tell you, we are going to have a minute to pray for Nigeria next week because we know that we will work. We know that we would pray. We're going to be the Nehemiah generation that would pray and will act and will play our part. But where we'll start from next week is the involvement of the Christian in politics. I love what you have said today. We don't have to look for the officers. How do we get involved? What do we need to do? What should we be looking forward to when we are getting into politics? These are the questions I really need you to answer next week, because next week we're going to be talking about politics and making a difference in politics. You have said it. We don't have to look for the elective officers, but we still have to get into politics. How
Yeah.
do we go about it? So that will be it for today. Time just flew past before we could say Jack Robinson. But we have made so many salient points that I believe all of us on this call have a lot to chew on. So, yes, wherever you are, understand value is important. We must play our role, we must do our part. And next week, we'll continue on Nation Building 2.0 with Sam Kputu. Thank you so much, sir, for being on
Thank
this
you very
call.
much.
I
God
look
bless
forward to
you.
seeing you next week. Thank you
Thank you. I'll be
so
here.
much.
I'll be here. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. I just looked at my timer and it was beeping and telling me time is so far gone. And I'm sure you have learned a thing or two. I have learned a lot listening to Sam Kputu today. It's been fantastic, and it has brought to the fore the fact that all of us have a role to play in politics. We all have a role to play in nation building. And one of the assignments you have in nation building is to go to the YouTube channel, like this video, and share it with 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, 50, 100 people. Let's get everybody involved in building our nation. Even if you are not in Nigeria, the same principles apply. Wherever you are a nation builder. And until I come your way next week, don't forget it. If you can think it, you can be it, and you can have it. And as always, together we win. God bless you. Thank you so much for being on this call. See you same time, same station next week. God bless you. Bye for now.